Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode on the official Hermitcraft Modsauce server. Are you excited for some mods? I know that I am. I am really looking forward to playing and recording right now. And you may be wondering, where are we? We're clearly at a village. I can't remember if I showed you this place in the last episode, but when I did some exploring I found this place and I love the location, you know. Nice big open field, we've got a little bit of a dungeon over there, some big trees, and I just liked this location. And there was this village here which looks like a pretty normal village with the exception of this building, which is definitely a little bit different. And also over here we have some growcraft plants. You can see we've got some grapes set up and that looks really interesting. I do like that. We may have to take a look at that very soon. But I was just hanging out over here and I was thinking, do you know what, this is where I want to set up. This is where I want to do a base. And I think my plan is to kind of rebuild the village over time, because the vanilla Minecraft village, it doesn't look that great, does it? It's not very fancy, and especially the way they generate it looks a little bit disorganized. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of rebuild this place as well and make a much nicer looking village. So we've got a theme for our base. I'm sure we'll do some underground stuff as well as above ground stuff. And so what I've been in the process of doing is actually moving all the things that we have over here, and that was going to be very, very difficult, but I have moved some materials over so far, but the rest of the job is going to be made easy by something that Slip showed me, and we'll get to that in a moment. I've got our smeltery from Tinker's Construct stuff in here, and there was already one of these over here. Now this one comes with a casting table and casting basin, that's the word, on both sides, and I don't think it has a faucet, but I've since learned that you can apparently use multiple faucets. So when we set this thing up over here, I think what we're going to do is have a very big Tinker's Construct smeltery. But anyway, let's go back in this direction because I did set up a nether portal. This is another little job that I've just done in between. Now I know there's probably going to be some sort of mod out there that, you know, makes transport between two places easier than the nether, but me being new to this, I've just set it up like you would in vanilla. So when we go through here, we now have one of these classic tunnels through the top area of the nether. You can see we're at Y108, which isn't as high as you could go, but I thought it would be fun to leave some space in case we wanted to build a nether hub system, which, as I just mentioned, might be completely useless because there's probably some very special fancy mod that replaces all of this. I don't know, but this is how I'm going to do it for now. And so over the end here is the portal back to, you know, our starting area, which really doesn't have a name. So if you go down that way, you'll go into the nether, and the nether is a really dangerous place. I'll have to show you it soon. There are all kinds of things going on and lots of things that try to kill me whenever I visit. So this is the, you know, regular place like we've seen quite a few times now, and we're going to go over to the little hole that I've built down in the ground and start moving some things out. Now, I was trying to think of ways. I was asking people what could we use to move lots of items, and then Slipgator showed me something, and there he is right there with a chest on his head, which is just ironic because we're talking about Slip showing me how to move these chests. Oh, it's funny. I love the hats. And by the way, the hats mod, press H. I made a big mistake when I was checking this out last episode. Look, there we go, the axe in the back of the head. Looks like I've unlocked a few as well, including the chest one. Oh, that's right, I killed a slime that had this thing. It jumped out at me like a big slime, and I guess it kind of scales it for the slime, right? So this big, weird-looking thing jumps out at me, and I panicked, I killed it, and it was a slime, and it had that on its head, so that explains that one. That's cool. You can get a cat on your head. Oh, that's cute. Anyway, which one was it? Axe head. So, what I didn't do is click done. And now if we press F5, there we go. I've got an axe in the back of my head. You can kind of see it there. Awesome. Silly little mistake I made there. Anyway, this thing that Slip showed me, I have no idea what chest it's in because I've been condensing all of the leftover materials into each of these chests. You can see there isn't as many here because we are, of course, moving out. And this is it right here. It's called the dolly. And do you know what's funny? I've actually got it on the side of my screen right here. You can see I've searched for it. So you craft it like this. A piece of wood, you can use a vanilla one, and some iron around the outside, and that creates a dolly. Now check this out. What we can do is go up and click on this thing, and then we can walk around. And we have slowness and mining fatigue, and that actually appears on the right. Now I think I might have mentioned it that I was having trouble figuring out, you know, what potion effects I had on me, and it's just because I press E to check and there's nothing here, and I didn't really notice that things are popped up on the right side of my screen. So that's where the potion effects are. It's really silly, but somehow I just didn't notice it. Anyway, you're going to have that effect while you're moving around, then you can plop the chest back down like that. Now I don't know if you can do multiple chests, but let's find out. Nope, we just opened that one like normal. So now what I want to find out if we can do is have multiple dollies. Oh, and I picked it up whilst trying to open the chest to get some materials. So we're going to need some iron and some wood, which I think is up here in the top, or maybe in the middle. In fact, we've got loads of wood in the chest that we just moved. So let's just quickly grab one of these and craft this. I should have been a little bit more prepared. And that is some very pink wood right there. So now we've got 2 dollies. Let's pick up this one, and let's pick up that one. And does that stack? I don't think it stacks the mining fatigue or the slowness, which is cool. That's awesome, so we can make a whole bunch of them and pretty much move the last of our chests in one go through the nether. But let's craft this into a diamond one first of all, because you can see there is a diamond variety there. I thought it needed more diamonds than that. Let's jump, or put that thing in there. Quickly craft that, and let's pick up this chest. So what's the difference? I don't know. We've got the same slowness and mining fatigue. Can we pick up 2 with this thing? No, we can't. So there's a difference, but what it is, I don't know at the moment. I think I'm going to have to Google that and find out. But anyway, I'm going to craft myself a whole bunch of dollies and move all of this stuff over to the nether. Oh my god, you are not going to believe what the diamond dolly does. I am rushing through here trying to find... There it is, there it is. There is a mob spawner here. It is... Oh, we're climbing. It is a skeleton one, but a skeleton one that has steel armor. Let's right click on this thing. Oh, no way. No way. We just picked up a mob spawner. That is unbelievable. And it doesn't keep its data when we put it back down. Oh, it changes each time. Now, I don't know if that's because this spawner spawns, let's say, a random skeleton. And that one's got diamond boots. Oh, there is some experimenting to be done. You know, I've got a whole plan for this episode of cool things that I want to do. And straight away, I've managed to find some other stuff. Well, that is awesome. That is so awesome. We could get a whole bunch of these mob spawners together and make some crazy kind of mob farm. This is really exciting stuff. Right, okay, so I got to go move all the things through the nether. I got totally distracted there. As soon as I read it, I went and read it online. Reddit, that sounds like the website. You know what I mean. And I was like, oh man, we've got to go get ourselves one of those. So now we have a mob spawner. That is awesome. And we're definitely going to be getting some more as well. And I totally can't remember the way out of here. Well, that's right, I died. What can I say? It was the most rubbish death I think I've ever seen. In fact, it was my first death on the server as well. So for the last 4 to 5 hours, my connection to this server has been absolutely appalling. Every time I log in, tons of block lag, frequent disconnects. It's been pretty unplayable. And one time when I tried to log in, I logged in and I was dead. And so it takes about 10 to 15 seconds for the world, you know, to load up while the game actually thinks that you're logged in. So I guess in those seconds a zombie walked up to me and killed me. So first death on the server, not really a fair one in my opinion. I also dropped 2 heads. I don't know why 2, but there you go. I decided to put them on the walls. So what I've been doing is just trying to prep this area a little bit. And I've been moving tons of resources over here. I've been clearing the area of all of these flowers. There are tons of them everywhere. And I also put up a little perimeter around the outside here just to be safe from zombies. And of course, I'm not going to be safe from social zombies because one of those must have spawned in here and decided to attack me. But this over here is the smeltery. You can see it's a little bit bigger. And then I just decided to expand it and build a little bit of a work area down here. It's not too practical at the moment. I'm also not happy with the lighting, you know. I'd like to use something that's a little more discreet, and I'm sure there's plenty of stuff in the mods for that. But what I want to do is over time expand this and make it look better. You know, I want to build the smeltery up and make it look bigger and get some fancy blocks because there's carpenter's blocks in this. So this is just the beginning of a little work area around here which I am excited to get into. And one of the things I really want to do is hang up the items like this. I'm hoping that these are craftable in different colours as well. You can see you can use the different coloured wood, but I think that may be just only showing us the one type. I guess what we can do is type drying rack here. And unfortunately it only comes in one colour. That is a shame. However, I think you might be able to use chisel or some other mods to apply another texture to it. So maybe we can make it kind of blend in more. But I love this idea of just hanging up the items that we're using and creating around here so I can just walk up to it and grab something, which reminds me of something else. When I was digging and playing around, I noticed that I kept accidentally placing blocks when I had a pick in my hand, and what you can do is just right click it and the item that's to the right of it will place down. So if I right click we get a chest. If I just move that I don't think it's going to do anything, so it doesn't go to the left if there's nothing on the right, and that is extremely useful. Anyway, getting back to it, our smeltery is now a lot bigger. Our controller on the side here now has a bigger interface, and we've got 4 drains and 4 facets. I cannot wait to use this thing. We're going to be speeding up our smeltery process a heck of a lot. But I've been reading the comments from the previous episode, getting some feedback from you guys, and apparently I got the mining pick here wrong. We wasn't supposed to use the manual like we did. Apparently cobalt is the best tool for mining, and also using a paper rod isn't the best way to do it either. So I don't know, I'm getting conflicting advice. You know, everyone has a different opinion, but maybe that's what we will try next. I also learned from you guys about how the lapis works. So if we hold down Shift, you can see this thing has 164 out of 450. Apparently 100 is equivalent to Fortune 1, and then 250 would be Fortune 2, and 400 would be Fortune 3. So perhaps we get, you know, an extra a bit on the end there if it's 450. We could actually upgrade that thing right now, because I've got plenty of lapis from mining, but I think we'll save that for a better pick once we find one that feels right. So anyway, I think I've talked about all the things I wanted to. At the moment what I want to do is start work on these tree farms, and I don't think I've really talked about that too much, so actually going to go ahead and find a location to build these, build them, and then get back to you when they're done. So there it is, our first 2 tree farms. I plan on building a lot of these. It looks like we'll be able to get 3 of these in a row before we hit the water over there, but I want to expand them back off into the distance, and my idea here is that these trees are an extremely easy way of getting a lot of building materials using the lumber axe. So if we have loads of these set up for each different tree type, then they can grow over time. We can just come over here and get some materials. And so far while I've been building this, this is what I've gotten. So a fair few stacks with not too much effort. Now there are a couple of problems with these. For example, if we go inside here, you can see that's another problem with it. Yes, it's dark on the inside. When the trees grow, the saplings are going to pop out and mobs are going to spawn like this guy over here. Let's just hit him with a couple of arrows and then swing in for the kill. Oh, I almost jumped over him. There we go. So inside here, the saplings pop out as the tree grows. So what we need is some lighting, and I could put down torches. In fact, I don't know why I haven't done that, because we can do that on a temporary kind of basis. But it'd be nice to find some sort of hidden lighting to put in here, and then that will work. Now this setup at the moment is 4 rows that are 2 wide, and I think they're 11 long in total, and the reason for doing it like that is so that this thing is just a big square. And also I've used the carpenter's blocks. Now if you're wondering why there's, you know, these diagonal looking blocks there, these things just over here, if you haven't seen these before, they come in a variety of different shapes. You place them down, then you can attach a material to it. It can be any material type at all. And another thing I've noticed, if you right click on the back of this, you actually add like the tiniest of little block sizes right there, which is strange. So I've used those around the edges as well. I think it looks really nice. We've got some of these great wood logs here, and these fences are made out of these blocks right here, which go into the pale wood that we've been using down the bottom here. Anyway, these ones over here, they don't seem to drop as many saplings. When I first planted my saplings down, I had about 15. Grew all of those, chopped it down, and that's the wrong one. And it went down to about 9 saplings. So let's just get these trees down and count how many we get from this. And of course when they're all grown, they all just come down in one big go. There we go, awesome. And so from that we got 6 saplings. So I think what we might have to do with this one over here is actually space them out a little bit more or arrange them differently, because there seems to be a lower drop rate. And so for every tree that grows, we do want to get a reasonable amount of saplings back from it. So I'm going to have to experiment with that, which will take a little bit of time. I also don't have a lot of bone meal to speed the process up, but I'm sure that you want to see these trees over here get chopped down, because it is wonderful to see them fall. So let's do that, and I guess that's going to partially come down. And one thing I find is that you actually spend a lot of time going around and collecting all the different things after you've chopped them down, because there's just so many. Anyway, let's continue chopping these. And that was the last of it, I think. And now it all comes falling down. There is just stuff everywhere, and this is why I have the hatchet with me as well, so I can just go around and pick off these leaves, because not all of them despawn every time. But anyway, I think that's all we're going to be building of these today, just because it is a little bit time consuming to build these at the moment. You know, we still don't have some efficiency tools, and I feel like we just need to focus maybe on our tools again a little bit, get more set up before we continue building all of these. But I'm going to continue chopping down these leaves. It will actually take me a little bit of time, and I think we might have to look into some form of automation. I bet there's something in the mod packs that will help you pick up all of these items, because there is a heck of a lot of them lying around at the moment, and this is just wonderful, chopping down these leaves so easily, getting tons of materials. So it's time for an experiment. I am very excited to see what is going to come out of this mob spawner. It looks like, you know, the mod has been made so it's going to keep the properties of this thing, but every time we place it down we get different armor, which means that we could potentially make a farm for different parts of armor on the mob as well. But the one that I'm interested in is the chain, because we can smelt that down into steel, and I think steel is going to be a very good material if we can replenish it, you know, like you would stone or iron. You get that in bulk quantities, and steel is better than both of those. And if you're looking at what this thing is over here, this is the cobalt pick. I basically screwed this up. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm still learning this stuff, remember, but I made this with a cobalt tool rod and also the headpiece as well, which is what you guys recommended to do, as well as a paper binding. And then I put the redstone on first of all, and I can't put anything else on this pick, which is really annoying. I wanted to put on some lapis and a diamond as well. Now it says haste, that's one modifier, and the other one is reinforced 2, and I don't know what reinforced 2 is. So I don't know how it got on there. I'm going to have to look that up, or maybe you guys can tell me. And I went back into the nether, tried to get a little bit more cobalt, and almost died a couple of times, and I think we're just not prepared enough for that. So at the moment what I'm waiting to happen is it for turn to night, which it's going to do in a moment, and then these guys will start spawning down there. I'm going to hop in and fight them with my sword, which I found in a chest, by the way, the ender. I noticed this thing had a really high durability on it, and I was wondering maybe it's something a little rare. Actually, you can get it in the Ender IO, and if I just press R it will show me the crafting recipe. Okay, this isn't rare at all. Now I know. Right, anyway, let's wait for it to turn to night. Bunka bunka bunk, 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 bunka bunka bunk. So look at these guys and their fancy hats. This is crazy, man. This mob spawner is spawning some really strong skeletons. Now I've been watching it for a while, going down there and fighting them as well. I've nearly died a couple of times. They are strong, and it looks like they drop items when they fight each other. That's interesting. We'll go down and grab those in a second, but I'm pretty sure that this thing is random every time it spawns them. You know, they're always wearing different armor. That guy has the diamond boots, and this is something that I've noticed. Every time they spawn, the mob inside changes as well, inside the spawner. Now I think there might be different rules for this as well in terms of how many can spawn at once. It only ever seems to be 1 at a time, and maybe a maximum of about 4 in here at once I've seen, or maybe 5. But yeah, it's not quite the same as a vanilla spawner, is it? However, it is occasionally spawning guys with chain armor, so it's not probably going to be the most efficient way of getting chain, but it certainly is one way to get it, and we can obviously get more of these spawners, so I think we should look at building a farm here, and then we can get ourselves lots of this chain armor. Ooh, that was fancy. Oh, and there's another one. So I've gone back into the dungeon where we first found this, and there is plenty more to be explored. If you ever look down here, I don't think anyone's been down there yet, and I found another one of these spawners, which is good. I crafted myself 6 of these, so I've invested a fair amount of diamonds. Once we find another 5 of these, I'm going to pick them all up and take them back. But I also found some good chests, some good loot in this chest. A couple of ender pearls, that's nice because I haven't been able to get any of those yet. And I also got a bottle of enchanting, which is completely pointless, but I felt like taking it anyway. This thing only has blast protection on it. I might as well take those torches. But when I came down here, you know, I was really excited and I kind of rushed into it. Forgot to repair my pick before I left, so that thing broke pretty quickly. And then I found this one in a chest, so that worked out pretty nicely. But anyway, I'm going to continue exploring. I think we've already raided this chest. Those books might be useful, however, I don't think it'll be too long before we get ourselves a cow farm going. Let's take those torches as well. Anyway, I'm going to continue exploring and hopefully we'll find a few more of these. So these dungeons are absolutely fascinating to explore. I think we might have to dedicate an episode to exploring one of these dungeons, you know. There is so much to see, and this one right here I thought would be pretty good to find early game. You know, you've got nether warts and carrots. If you're struggling to find those, that's always good, but we haven't been able to find pumpkins yet, and now we've got them down here. But also there are some brewing stands. Now our nether, it's got some mods installed on it that make it extremely difficult. I have found it very difficult to explore and just survive in the nether, so it's good to find these. And also in this chest there are some nether warts as well, which is nice. I've got a feeling that this thing is rare right here. I don't know, I watched a couple of mod videos some time ago and I remember this thing from it, but maybe it's not. But there is plenty of good loot to be found in these chests. There is also a fire resistance potion, which is pretty useful, you know, when you don't have brewing stands and nether warts, but of course we do have those now. Although you're going to need some blaze powder, so it'd be nice to find some blaze rods down here. That would be really good, and I also want those slimes. Look at this room right here. It is so pretty. I really do like this. It's a lovely little room. But what's cool about this? A free enchanting table, but also look at the quartz in here. You could easily just explore these dungeons and salvage yourself some quartz. Look, this spider has spawned from this spawn on the side here. So we must remember there's one of those. You know, we could get so many spawners with these dollies and build so many interesting types of farms. I am really looking forward to it. But for now, I'm going to grab myself this free enchanting table. So I finished exploring the dungeon. There wasn't too much more to it actually, so that's all of the loot that we got there. I'm especially pleased with that enchanting table, though we could have easily crafted one, but the bone meal is going to come in useful, and in total we've now got 5 of these things. One of them is actually a zombie spawner, and then I realised, you know what, that doesn't really matter because we need this thing for the steel armour. So the next project for us is to obviously build a farm out of these, which is something that I'm going to be doing in the next episode, or maybe the next one we might go and explore a dungeon. Also, these things have uses as well, and I can't remember if these ones did or not now, but I think maybe these ones you can use over and over again, and the diamond ones have a limited amount of uses, or maybe that's just for using them on the mob spawner. So we've got to keep that in mind because this could get pretty expensive each time we move these. But for the last hour or so I've been exploring looking for another dungeon, and I haven't found one, and now my server, my connection to the server is starting to get awful again, and this is getting really bad. It seems like I can only ever play early in the morning or late at night, and then things start to get bad. So hopefully, I don't know, those connection issues will be resolved, although I don't really know what to do about them, so fingers crossed. But I think that's going to wrap things up here. We now know what we're doing for our next project, and also we're going to go explore some dungeons probably in the next episode like I mentioned. But that's it for this one. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. You know it will always be appreciated, and as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.